Okay, well this feels weird. Hello everybody, welcome back. I have not sat down in this chair and filmed a video in maybe like 2 months. Actually, maybe even before that. You know what? I don't even know. It's been a long time, but hello. You know what? Before I chat, I need some lip balm. And this brand does have a few lip balms, so I'm gonna use one of these. There's the peptide lip treatments, which I think these are supposed to be a dupe of the Summer Friday ones. Summer Fridays? Am I right in thinking that? Or is it another brand? I don't know. But I'm gonna use the vanilla brulee one. Oh, yeah, it has the same like squishy applicator thing. Huh. Okay. It smells like a MAC lipstick. That smells great. That feels great. I've probably maybe picked a bad day to come back because I do have a bit of a cold, but I have some time this afternoon to sit down and film, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it anyway. But in case anybody wants kind of like a general update of where I've been, how things have been, I did post a vlog on my second channel, which is just SOPH Does Vlogs, which is kind of like answering some questions. Because yeah, if you're new here, I had a baby a couple of months ago now, and I had originally pre-filmed a bunch of videos and like content and stuff that was going up, and then I ran out of content and I didn't anticipate that I wouldn't be able to come back as soon as I'd hoped. So yeah, if you want like the general kind of catch up and everything, that is on my second channel. One of the brands that I've been meaning to test because they're now in the UK is called MCO Beauty. I think it's an Australian brand, and they have a ton of dupes or supposed dupes. I mean, I don't know, I've not tested any of this stuff yet. They did send me most of this stuff. This is not sponsored, and then I did buy a few bits on the Superdrug website as well. I don't have a bronzer. Oh wait, it's because I had the bronzing drops. I was going to test those. Okay, we can make do. But thank you so much for being patient with me. I'm going to really try and get into a bit more of a consistent routine with my YouTube videos. There might not be one every single week, but I will do my best. I'm just kind of taking things as they go. So first things first, the peptide lip treatment. This is what I just put on. Also, excuse my nails. I desperately need to redo them. So it has this squishy kind of applicator, which, yeah, that feels really nice on my lips. It's slightly tinted, so this one's a little bit brown, but it smells nice and it feels really good, so I like that. So for my primer, I have I was gonna say the MCo Beauty. Everything is MCo Beauty. The Grip Primer Base, which, how do they get away with this? Like, genuinely, how do they get away with this? Because all of the packaging is essentially the same as the brands that they're trying to dupe. So this, I think, obviously is supposed to be a dupe of the Milk one, which is one of my favourite primers ever, so let's test the consistency. It just says a gel primer made with moisturising ingredients. Doesn't say what moisturising ingredients. Let's see. My skin is actually really dry at the moment. Oh, yep, I can definitely feel it drying it down. Oh yeah, it's definitely getting sticky. You know what, I'm just gonna add a tiny bit more because my chin is actually a little bit dry and flaky and I don't want that to cause me any problems. Yeah, as it dries, it's definitely getting sticky. It feels like a gel texture. Wow, that does actually feel very sticky. Let's do my... Yeah, bloody hell. What else can I stick to my face? Lip balm? Not quite too heavy. That actually does feel very sticky, so I guess we will see how my makeup applies over the top. Doesn't feel particularly moisturising, like it definitely has a little bit of moisture in there. Yeah, so far feels good. So the next thing, I wonder what this is a dupe of. The thing is with dupes, right, from my personal opinion, from trying so many different things that are technically supposed to be dupes, so many brands will dupe the packaging, but the formulas will be completely different. And then other brands will dupe the formulas, and the formulas will be similar, but the packaging might be completely different. But I think just because something has similar packaging to something else does not mean that it's the same. I see so many people saying on TikTok like, oh my god, this is an exact dupe for this, and I'm like, well, it's just not. The formulas are completely different. Yes, the packaging's the same, but it might not necessarily be a dupe. So I'm interested by this one. This is the Flawless Glow Complexion Perfector with filter-like finish. They're not even trying to hide it at this point. Formulated to illuminate the skin. And I've got the shade 3 Light, which I think at the moment this one's going to be a bit dark, but I'm sure I can make it work. We'll bring it down my neck. So, oh wow, okay, that actually gets quite a lot of product on there. So as I'm sure we know, this is supposed to be a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, which is probably one of the most duped makeup products on the market, I would say. I've been loving this brush recently, and I swear it was from e.l.f., but there's no writing on it. I don't know if it wore off. So let's blend this in and see what we think. Some of these dupes for the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter are super like sparkly, but actually, if I'm being totally honest, I love Charlotte Tilbury. I do actually think the Flawless Filter, there's some really good drugstore versions. Like, I really like the Rimmel one, I really like the e.l.f. one, and they do actually do a very similar thing. And I've got to say, this one actually seems very similar. Wow, yeah, that's gone on really nicely. Okay, let's just ignore the fact that the colour is not right. So what this is basically supposed to do is to give you a bit of a glow, and if you don't need much coverage, you could literally just wear this all over your face as kind of like your foundation. Or you can use it underneath your foundation, you can mix it with your foundation, you can use it on the tops of your cheekbones as kind of like a glowy highlighter. So it's supposed to be a multi-purpose kind of thing. I'm gonna have to bring some down my neck. In this current lighting situation, it doesn't look glittery at all. It's got like a, definitely got a glow, but it's not glittery, do you know what I mean? I think it actually looks really nice. I would say that's pretty on par with the other drugstore dupes that I've tested. It's not too thick or anything. Can't you see on my forehead? It looks really smooth. Then for concealer, I went for the Brighten and Perfect Cream Concealer, and I got the shade Light 2, which says Fair, which I'm pretty sure on the Superdrug website this was the lightest shade that they had, but it says Light 2, so maybe there are other shades. But the packaging for this, pretty much exactly the same as the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. So let's see if it will do a similar thing. Not gonna lie, the shade range did not seem great in this concealer, but I do wonder if maybe they have other shades but they're just not available in the UK, or maybe they've got more in stores, because I've not actually been to see the stand in stores yet. And wow, I definitely have more to cover since my return. And I'm definitely more wrinkly than I was before because I've not been able to use retinols or tretinoin for the past like, wow, yeah, and boy am I feeling it. I mean, it's blended nicely. However, I think personally, let's see how it covers my spots. I was gonna say personally I like to have a little bit more coverage. Okay, no, I feel like on my spots that's not really given tons of coverage. On this side it seems to be working a bit better. I mean, it kind of does the job. I prefer my concealer to be a bit higher coverage. I'm just gonna put some on my spots and leave it there for a minute. I mean, it's fine, it blends nicely, it doesn't feel too thick or anything, but I just wish it had a bit more coverage. I'm gonna use the bronzing drops, which I'm a little bit scared for these because I don't even like the original. I don't like the Drunk Elephant bronzing drops. If you literally just want to use them to add tint to your face, that's all they're gonna do. The thing that annoyed me about the Drunk Elephant drops is that I would see people using them underneath their foundation and then putting a full coverage foundation over the top of them, and I'm like, well, what was the point in using the bronzer drops? But let's see how we go with these. So that's what it looks like. They do actually seem a bit more pigmented, I think. Let's see if I can make that work, shall we? I'm gonna take some on my brush, start with my forehead. Like, I'm all for a skin tint kind of thing. With the bronzing drops, I just didn't really get it because it didn't really add any coverage. It more just literally added colour. So I guess if you've got perfect skin and you then don't need to do anything, then fine, but I don't know, I just found them a bit pointless. With my skin tints, I prefer them to have like a little bit of coverage at least. It has added some bronziness to my forehead, hasn't it? Let's just squeeze out some more. I'm gonna have to blend this concealer in. Oh, but the concealer's lighter than the base, so. I like the primer though, everything seems to be sitting nicely on top of it. Okay, let's take some more of that bronzer, work it into my brush. And I know that it's not supposed to be like a contoury kind of product, but that's what I'm gonna use it for because I don't have another bronzer. From what I remember, this seems very similar to the original. Like, if you actually want to use it as a bronzer, you need to just keep adding more and more and more for it to be visible. I definitely wouldn't repurchase them, but if that's your kind of thing, maybe if you love the Drunk Elephant ones, you might really like these. So it just depends on your preferences, I guess. So they've got the cheek and lip tint in Rose Glow. I think this one's supposed to be a dupe of the Glossier Cloud Paint. And then these, they are not even trying to hide it. These are supposed to be a dupe of the Charlotte Tilbury ones, and I really like the Charlotte Tilbury ones, so I'm gonna go for the peach one, which is literally called Peach Bellini Blush, and then they've got the highlighter wand as well. These have been so duped, especially the highlighter and the bronzers from Charlotte Tilbury. But let's test this one first, the Glossier little dupe. That's weird. It seems a bit like it's sort of separated. Oh, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this. It feels a bit sticky, like it feels like a lip balm, and it smells like oil. I'm gonna have to use it now, aren't I? It smells kind of like Vaseline. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna use another brush. Just using a Sephora brush, and I'm gonna put this on one side of my face. Okay, no, I already don't like it. It feels really oily. Like, this kind of product is not for me. I have been enjoying like liquid highlighter type things a bit more recently, but this one just feels, I don't know, can you tell? Like, I mean, it looks lovely and glowy on my cheek, but it feels really, it just feels like straight up oily, which is not really my kind of thing. And it's very lightly pigmented, which again, maybe that's some people's preference. Like if you've got dry skin, you might love that dabbed on top of your cheekbones, but that one is not for me. Hopefully this one will be better, the Soft Matte Beauty Wand. Let's try just dotting this on the other side. I'm gonna use the brush that I was originally using and seeing if this one performs any better. I like the colour of this one. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I definitely prefer that one. I don't know if it's sitting that well with the glowy base underneath. Actually, no, I think maybe this brush is a bit big to be putting blush on because it kind of takes it all the way up to my eyes, but let's do the other side. Yeah, you know what? That's nicely pigmented. And it seems to be blending well. I think I've used too big of a brush. Yeah, I like that one. Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that. And I don't know if it's because my base is quite glowy underneath, but is it matte? Let me test it on my hand and like rub it in. Oh, okay. It definitely is matte when you actually blend it out on my hand. I think it's just because obviously I've got that glowy filter thing underneath. It feels almost like a bit velvety. I would use that again. So then I do have the liquid highlighter, which is the Beauty Wand in Champagne. Let's see what the consistency of this is like. I find it so satisfying doing this. Ooh. Oh god, I've just squeezed out too much. I don't know, guys. The formula of this one to me feels thicker than the Charlotte Tilbury one. I don't really know how to describe it. Like, it feels a little bit, maybe a little bit sticky, but I'm gonna try it. I don't know what the best method is. Do I just do a dot on my face and then... Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Can you see? Okay, yeah, I would not recommend doing that method that I just did, because do you see? I now just have like a line where it's removed the blush from underneath, but I now need to go back in with the blush, which is not what I wanted. What I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna powder, because this is how I normally use liquid highlighters. I normally powder my face and then I add them over the top just to bring back a bit of glow. So that's what I'm gonna do, and I got this powder, which is the Miracle Flawless Press Powder. They did a few different shades of this, which was good to see. I got the shade Light, which, again, quite an obvious supposed dupe for Charlotte Tilbury. But, I mean, like I said, that just goes to show that some of these products, they obviously have the same or very similar packaging to some of the originals, but it doesn't mean it's a dupe. It does not mean you're getting the same performance, you know? Yeah, you know what? That concealer I'm not crazy about. I feel like I need more coverage. I still look like I need some sleep, which I do, but the whole point of makeup is that we're trying to cover that up. Taking some on a powder puff. And I'm just gonna press that into my under eyes. Ooh, wow, that actually looks really good. It looks a little bit dry. Yeah, that's definitely given some coverage, hasn't it? Look at it compared to the other side that I've not done yet. That looks pretty good. Can you see how the concealer's kind of creasing on the other side? It's a little bit dry looking, but I mean, I guess I kind of get that with most powders now. You can definitely tell that it's there. But I'm impressed with the coverage that that's added. Like, it looks a whole lot better than before I said it. So let's just do the exact same on the other side. What I am curious about is if this is going to crease throughout the day and like what everything's going to look like at the end of the day. And it's kind of helping to lighten up the rest of my face, where obviously it was a little bit darker. They did also have a translucent one, which was just, it looked like it was white. But yeah, I definitely think that's now lightened everything up. And now my neck looks darker than my face. It does look a little bit cakey actually all over my face. We'll see how it wears throughout the day, but I would definitely take this with me to do like touch-ups and stuff, like put in my handbag. I think it would be quite a handy one. Then for my powder blush, originally I was like, I don't know what this is supposed to be a dupe of. And then I saw on TikTok that it's supposed to be a dupe of the Dior blushes, I think. So this one, oh, that shade looks gorgeous. This one is the shade Peach Pop, but it says it's a pH powder blush. But aren't like the pH ones normally the color adapting kind of things? This just looks like that is the color. So I'm a bit confused. I'm quite impressed to see that it has a mirror, but that looks like a really nice blush color. I've not tried the Dior ones because I don't know. To me, they look like they're going to be a bit of a waste of money. This just looks like a matte blush though, so it's nothing that exciting. But let's see. I'll add that on this side first. Ooh. It's quite a kind of corally orange colour, but yeah, that's quite pretty. Generally these days I tend to go for a shimmery blush rather than a matte one, just because it kind of kills two birds with one stone and I don't have to highlight, but that's a really nice colour actually. Gonna put the rest on my nose. It's definitely done what it's supposed to do. I like that. It is a nice colour, but I just wish it was shimmery. Let's try this again. So what I'm gonna do is take some just on the back of my hand. I don't like how thick it feels. Like the Charlotte Tilbury one feels really thin and it works nicely on top of your powder, but this one, I don't know, there's something about it. It feels like a thicker sort of like moussier texture almost. So I'm gonna take the back of my sponge. Yeah, look, it already is like dried onto my hand. It's kind of just pushed all the product into my hand rather than my face. Maybe if I dot it directly onto my sponge. Let's try that instead. Okay, that does seem to be working. But then again, it's just taken away a lot of the blush colour. Like, it's not really sitting on top, it's more overpowering everything. I'm gonna try with this brush, which is the Refa Alexandra Anel one. Again, I'm gonna put this on my hand, kind of work it into the brush, and then dab it on my cheeks. Oh, whoa. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see, like it's just sort of like sat on top of my makeup rather than blending in with it, and it looks a bit heavy, like it's very noticeable, like it's given me a bit of texture. Do you sort of see what I mean? It's almost like emphasizing the texture on my cheeks. Like, it doesn't really look great in person. It looks a bit dry almost, which is not what I want from my liquid highlighters. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one. Just goes to show, again, with the hot packaging thing, that is very different from the Charlotte Tilbury one. Like, the Charlotte Tilbury one is very smooth. It's very sort of like lightweight almost. Like the blush, don't like the highlighter. This is the Brow Laminate Sculpt and Set, which I think, is it maybe supposed to be a dupe for the Refi brow thing or something else, because the packaging is different, but whoa, that looks sticky. I used to actually use this kind of product a lot. Yeah, there was a period of time where I was really going for the soap brow kind of thing. So I guess that is what we'll do today. Wow, I really need to pluck my eyebrows. It feels like it's doing something. The only thing is, there's like little bits in my eyebrow and I can't tell if that's from the powder underneath or if that's the actual brow product. It seems to be sticking them up. I think this is gonna have to be a brow pen kind of situation because I'm not sure a pencil would draw very well over the top of it. Yeah, I don't really like how flaky it's looking, but then I think that's just my makeup underneath it. Then I do always do my base before I've done my eyebrows. I really need to tweeze these. It really actually does feel like it stuck my eyebrows down. They feel like they're pretty secure. I'm just going to use this fine brow pen, which I've not used this in ages, so I'm a little bit scared, and from what I remember, it's a bit dark. But I just figured this might go quite nicely over the top of this because it's very pigmented. Yeah, looks pretty good to me. Okay, yeah, that's definitely too dark, isn't it? I look so angry. Let's see if brushing them through can fix this situation any better. Brow gel seems to be doing a pretty good job, honestly. I think in Australia they have eyeshadows. In the UK, we don't seem to have any eyeshadows. I guess then at least I can really see the effects of the mascara. This is the MCo Extend Lash. I don't actually know what this is supposed to be a dupe of, so if anybody knows if this is supposed to be a dupe or maybe it's just their own original product, who knows? This is what it looks like. It looks like a pretty standard brush. Oh, wait. Before I do that, I have got this, which again, I think is supposed to be a dupe of the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. This is the Miracle Flawless setting spray. Let's test it with, I'm going to test it with this MUA bronzer. So there's my bronzer, as you can see. Let's see if this will be the type of setting mist that will actually stick my makeup on. Ooh, that looks like a nice fine mist. It's actually a finer mist than the Charlotte Tilbury one. Like, it smells a bit perfumey. I'll wait for that to dry. Oh, I just missed, I think. Mist? That is such a nice spray. Like, it's really nice and fine. You know what? I kind of wasn't really expecting that much from that, but I feel like it has actually sort of made everything mesh a little bit better. Is it still wet or is that just the finish that it's given? Because if that's the finish it's given, then I really like it. I really like how that looks on my face. It's given a slight bit of extra glow and sort of melted the powder into my skin so it looks a little bit less powdery. Like, I don't know if you can see on my forehead, it's added a slight bit of shine, but it's not made me look oily. But let's see, let's test. Yes, okay, yes, that is definitely stuck on there. That's maybe my favorite product yet. Nice. Okay, now I'm gonna test the mascara. Is this a tubing mascara? It kind of feels like it is. Like, it has that elasticy sort of feeling to it. On first coat, it looks pretty natural. Let's see how it builds. Yeah, it's dried really quickly and it almost does have that like rubbery feeling. Okay, I would definitely say it's more lengthening than volumizing. With a third layer, it's going a little bit clumpy. You see how under my eye, the concealer has already started to crease? And there as well. Just wanted to point that out before I did my mascara. Like, I can definitely see the concealer is already starting to look a little funky under there. I do quite like the mascara. I think it's made my lashes look nice, but it's nothing mind-blowing. I'm not like, oh my god, this is my new favourite mascara. Like, I would use it again, because I do kind of like the way that it built up and it's made my lashes look quite long, but it's not really giving me the volume that I usually go for. Let me just Google though, is it a tubing mascara? Because if it is, then that's kind of makes me like it a bit more. It is! Our best-selling award-winning innovative tubing mascara, maximising length, curl and volume without flaking or smudging. We will see about that. If this doesn't smudge, it's going to go up in my books. Then the last products that I've got to test are lip products. I've got 2 of the lip liners, 4-in-1 hydrating lacquers, which I think these are supposed to be a dupe of the Tarte ones. And then I've also got the lipstick, which is in the shade Cheeky Chat. Literally looks the same as the Charlotte Tilbury one. It smells quite nice. Doesn't smell as nice as Charlotte Tilbury though. Oh, and the lip liner in Cheeky Chat is also the dupe of... Oh, great. That's literally just come off. Let me go get my sharpener. Okay, that colour is not a bit of me. That is the shade Nude Pink, but it looks lilac. This one looks really peachy though, so I don't know if I like the look of that one either. That one's called Nude Melon. That one looks really quite light and peachy. Can't smell anything, but maybe that's because I've got a cold. They're not even trying to hide it. I just feel like that's not necessary. Okay, the colours are not exactly the same. The MCo one's a bit darker. This one is MCo. This one is Charlotte Tilbury. With the lipstick, that one is MCo. I can only find my mini Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, but it will still do the job, won't it? They do look very similar, although I feel like the Charlotte Tilbury one's maybe a hint lighter and a hint more mauvey. Yeah, I feel like this one's a bit more pink. Nice shade though. It feels a bit more, what's the word, like melty than the Charlotte Tilbury ones. Slippery, almost like it's gonna move around a bit more. If I do this, the MCo one is the one that's like smudged everywhere and the Charlotte Tilbury one doesn't smudge. Okay, then the lipstick. Okay, again with the lipstick, kind of just feels like you're a bog standard creamy lipstick formula. I like the shade, don't get me wrong. I don't know, I find the Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks last really well on me. Feels really nice. And then I'm gonna top this all off with the lip plumping stuff. I thought this would smell, but it kind of doesn't. I feel like there's loads of this type of thing now, like the NYX Slick Click ones. Elf have got them. Ooh, that is glossy. I can feel a slight minty tingle. Yeah, it feels very similar to like the Elf ones. It does seem to melt quite a lot. Definitely feels really hydrating. Oh, it literally says 4-in-1 hydrating lacquer. And that feels nice. A bit of a weird taste. It is starting to tingle a little bit, but I can't really feel it that much. And that is my full face of MCo Beauty. I think overall my face actually looks really nice. The main things that are bothering me are the highlighter looking quite obvious, and then just I think the powder looks a little bit cakey. Just wanted to do a little close up on my phone because I feel like sometimes this kind of captures the detail a bit more than my camera. Oh, that's an eyelash. See what I mean with the powder and concealer just here? Like already sort of breaking up a bit in my lines. And also like the texture of the highlighter. But generally though, I think everything looks pretty nice. And this is what it looks like on my phone in the natural light. I just wanted to include this clip as well. I am going to check back in with you at the end of the day and see what everything's looking like. But I'd say my favourite products were, I like the primer, the all over glowy thing as well. The setting spray was my favourite thing. Oh, and I really liked this blush. And then, I mean, I do like the lip products, but to me they don't feel the same quality as Charlotte Tilbury, but they definitely do the job. And the colours are very similar. I'm about to take this off and go to bed, but I just wanted to show you how everything is looking. So I've definitely got more oily throughout the day and more shiny. The places that I'm noticing it the most is around my nose, kind of the sides of my nose, and I tend to get oiliest sort of around here, like through my T-zone, I guess. Obviously all of the lip product is completely gone. I would say that the blush, I mean, the blush is definitely still there. The mascara has not smudged at all, actually. Oh, I do have a dog hair in my eyelash, though. Yeah, the mascara has not smudged or flaked at all, which is great. I do have some creasing in my smile lines, so the base has not held up perfectly well. However, I was kind of expecting that because I feel like with all of these sort of glowy filter type products, they are never really super long lasting for me. They're the kind of thing that I put on if I'm just going out and sort of running errands and I don't need my makeup to last like all day. The main thing that's bothering me is my under eyes, to be honest, but they were already starting to crease before I'd even finished filming the video. And this is my final check-in of the night on my phone. So yeah, you can see I've got some major creasing here. A little bit's worn off of my chin, but everything else, like the blush and everything's still there. Whoa, this is super HD. Look at that. The creasing on my eyes is bugging me. So those were my first impressions. If anyone else has tried this brand, let me know, and let me know if there's anything I missed. I hope this video was helpful. In the UK, you can get these from Superdrug. Right, I hope you guys are doing good. Thank you so much for watching. It's nice to be back and filming, and hopefully I'll be back again soon with another video, but if I'm not, please don't yell at me. I'm trying to take care of a tiny human while still recovering myself. I'll get there though. I promise I'll get there. I'm not abandoning YouTube whatsoever, so I will be back. But yeah, I hope you guys are good, and I will see you in my next video.